Good evening, and thank you for joining us for Albany County Executive Daniel P. McCoy's 2021 State of the County Address. I'm Daniel Lynch, the Deputy County Executive. We are not all in the same room as we usually are for this address, but I invite you to join us as we are led by the Chairman of the Albany County Legislature, Andrew Joyce, in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Chairman Joyce. A short time ago, one of Albany County's strongest advocates in Washington sent a message of support and thanks that you are about to hear. It was prior to the successful passage of the American Rescue Plan, which can be attributed to his wonderful leadership. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer.
Hi everyone, this is Senator Chuck Schumer, and I wanted to take a minute to thank my great friend and partner, your wonderful County Executive Dan McCoy and his entire team, for the work that you have all been doing on the front lines of the pandemic these 12 months. From Dan's daily briefings to the Health Department's heroic work, and all departments, including our county and road crews, the county's COVID response has dominated this last year, and we're also thankful for your work on behalf of Albany County. I promise you that as the new Senate Majority Leader, the first from New York, I will make it my mission to fight for you every single day. I was just able to secure over $3.5 million in emergency enhanced FMAP funding for Albany County, and we just learned that President Biden, at my urging, will extend that program this year. I was also able to secure $9 million in rental assistance for Albany County to distribute to landlords on behalf of tenants who have fallen behind in their rent through no fault of their own. And I secured $20 million in emergency aid to Albany International Airport. Fewer flights mean fewer dollars, but the airport must keep going. And most important, I am fighting very hard for direct aid to Albany County itself. Looks like it will happen in the new COVID bill we are fighting for. And I'm also working very hard to see that within a short time, Albany County gets the vaccines it needs so we can vaccinate our population and get back on the road to recovery and resume normal lives. I am hopeful to get it done through President Biden's American Rescue Plan that we're working on. But as I do my part getting the funding you need, I stand on your shoulders, County Executive McCoy, and I stand on the shoulders of all county employees who work so hard day in and day out to keep residents of this wonderful county, the County of Albany, and the millions who work and visit as healthy and safe as possible. So thank you so much, and here is to better days ahead.
Thank you, Senator Schumer, for being such an outstanding partner to Albany County. What a year. Last year when I introduced the county executive for the state of the county, the world we lived in looked so different. Then the calendar turned to March of 2020, and COVID-19 appeared with full force. Our views of life, health, family, friends, work, school, and everyday events were turned upside down. Take a moment to think back to life before COVID-19. And then what we all endured, the ups and downs, the heartbreak, and the daily challenges. We began to live with and were asked to understand a new world that included terms like pandemic, social distancing, shutdowns, isolation, quarantine, remote learning, and the list goes on. We survived the first wave, and then were hit with the second. A scary number of hospitalizations, and far too many unnecessary deaths. And now with the vaccine, there is true hope that we are closing in on the end. For me, as I reflect on the challenges we faced this year and worked to solve and manage the COVID-related issues and difficulties for Albany County, I watched a true leader at work and had the pleasure to serve with him every day. County Executive McCoy has been a stable and reliable resource for all of us during this challenging time, and all while accomplishing many amazing initiatives and projects throughout the year. Even though we were shocked by the impact that COVID-19 was having on our county, he had a way of calming the situation. His daily briefings provided us all up-to-date information on the ever-changing virus, and the message was delivered in a calm, collected, and transparent manner, putting people at ease. He became the go-to voice for COVID response, not only in our county, but for the entire capital region. The country, state, and county have weathered a tumultuous year, and the light at the end of the tunnel is getting brighter and brighter. Albany County is very fortunate to have a leader with real life experience guiding us through the pandemic as we strive to conquer the virus. It is my honor and distinct pleasure to introduce our great county executive, Daniel P. McCoy.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for watching me remotely to my 10th annual State of the County Address. I would like to extend a sincere note of gratitude to my fellow leaders in government, United States Senator Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, Senator Kristen Gillibrand, Congressman Paul Tonko, State Senator Breslin, State Senator Michelle Hitchie, and Assembly Member Pat Fahey, John McDonald, and Phil Stack, and the City Mayor, and the towns and supervisors, and of course our fellow leaders in the county, Chairman Andrew Joyce, Majority Leader Feeney, Minority Leader Frank Marinello, and all county legislators. I sincerely appreciate the advocacy and effort made by Senator Schumer. As Majority Leader of the Senate, a true voice for not only New York State, but for Albany County and similarly situated counties throughout America. I truly appreciate his willingness to listen, his understanding of state and local government, and his continued partnership and his effective leadership. Indeed, this evening address is like no other. The first known case of COVID-19 in Albany County was on March 12th, 2020. Today marks a year that we have been at war against COVID-19 and continue in our battle against this deadly disease every minute of every day. We're closing in on our enemy, and I shall accept nothing short of full victory. Now is not the time to soften or relax. I have been vigilant throughout this pandemic, and to be sure, I shall remain vigilant and use all resources to deliver the final blow that will return our community back to safety. Tragically, during this pandemic, over 500,000 Americans lost their lives. No community had been spared. Here in Albany County, we lost over 360 of our citizens. There are our mothers, our fathers, our sons and daughters, our neighbors, and our frontline workers. My thoughts and prayers go out to the families and loved ones of all who have passed. Please let us take a moment of silence to remember them all. We highly resolve that these dead shall not have died in vain. So said Abraham Lincoln at Gettysburg in 1863. Now, today, we must heed these words. We must recognize each life. We must not discount or diminish the value through contempt or political rhetoric. It matters not that so many were in a nursing home or older in years or had pre-existing medical conditions. Every life is valuable. Let us honor each of those fallen equally. Let them not die in vain. We have seen inequities amongst those infected and died. Why is this? For far too long, our society as a whole has not provided equal access to health care to our minority communities. This multi-generational failure resulted in disproportionment among our Black and brown community to have underlying health issues, creating a higher likelihood of hospitalization and or death should they contract COVID. We are past due to correct these disparities. We can wait no longer. This time to act is now. Let us resolve that these fallen have not died in vain. Let us resolve to correct this injustice. As Desmond Tutu stated, if you're neutral in situations of injustice, you're on the side of the oppressor. Tonight, you will hear of the many actions that my administration has taken through partnerships during the war on COVID-19 toward ending these historical injustices. Indeed, I am forever committed to those words of Lincoln, our fallen have not died in vain. And while there has been great sorrow and pain felt through our county during this time, We have also seen time of hope and inspiration. We have seen our community come together to show its character and caring and compassion. We have also seen times for opportunity and optimism. We have witnessed significant advancements and many successes. This evening, I will share with you some of those stories of hope, promise, and success. Throughout my years in the military, including a tour in Iraq, as well as many years as a captain for the Albany Airport Fire Department, my 9 years plus as county executive, my 10 years as president of County Executives of America, and president of New York State County Executives, I've responded to many crisis situations. And the one thing I have learned through all this is that you have to be ready to respond to the unexpected. We plan for a crisis, we prepare for a crisis, we train for a crisis. However, when reality happens, the crisis occurs, and you're on the front lines. The battlefield in front of you change. There are situations that arise that one could never have expected. As President Eisenhower said, in preparing for battle, plans are useless, but planning is indispensable. So when we are called into action, we respond. When we pivot, we recalculate. When we adapt, we evolve. When we do this to save lives. Decisions and actions during these times occur within a split second. Now, each decision in each battle may not be a success, but we learn from this and we press forward. We use these lessons to further prepare and respond when called into action again. And so, it is this contact and this background that impacts my decision making during the COVID-19 crisis. While my military and leadership experience provide the skill set to lead us through this battle, it must be recognized that any successful operation and winning strategy requires collaboration. All great leaders know that partnerships are vital to victory. As I have said throughout this global pandemic, we must work together to provide for our citizens. We're all in this together. There is no time for politics. There is no time for finger pointing. There is no time for egos. At this juncture, resources are limited and we must band together and work shoulder to shoulder as one unified community, one unified America to win this war against COVID. After our first case of COVID hit Albany County, we need to step into action. I issued a state of emergency on March 14th, 2020. Actions needed to be taken and decisions needed to be made. The flexibility to respond in a war requires a state of emergency to remove the barriers and bureaucracy of everyday regulations. It is necessary for our operations to remain fluid. This allows us to continue to provide essential services to our citizens on a daily basis, while changing the manner in which this is achieved. As we began this battle against COVID-19, we did it not knowing about the virus. It seemed as though information was being released and changed on a daily, even hourly basis. We consumed all the information and parsed out all that could be understood as credible. Even that information morphed. One thing we did understand early is that personal protective equipment, PPE, was our front line of defense against this unknown virus. While we had no sword yet to battle the virus, we certainly had a shield, and that was PPE. As I said earlier, we're all in the battle together. We need to collaborate and work together in a partnership to find, exchange, and share PPE. Through my years of leadership in association with NISAC and County Executives of America, I had contacted other county executives and county managers. We reached out to school districts and other local municipality leaders. We communicated and brainstormed often, and we still do. For all of us, COVID was the natural enemy, and we banded together for a greater good of our communities to get PPE where it was needed most on that specific day. Our business partners in the communities stepped up to join the fight. Local companies switched operations to manufacture PPE. National companies donated thousands of masks for our frontline workers in Albany County. Small businesses began to make masks, and all these partnerships and all these efforts contribute to our success. Indeed, through all this, many lives were saved. And I thank all our partners in business and government. One weapon in the arsenal that was discovered was tracing and testing. While the state had a large-scale testing site at the University of Albany, we knew we needed more and had to reach the people directly. We had to bring testing to the neighborhoods to really be effective in our battle. As I mentioned earlier, there are neighborhoods that have been historically disadvantaged and often left behind. I know far too well growing up in such a neighborhood. So when we were battling this war on COVID, I was not going to sit by and let this happen again. It was a priority of mine to bring in testing directly to underserved populations. We needed a strong ally and a partner in this endeavor, and I called upon Whitney Young, a known and trusted provider of health care in the city of Albany. We worked together to bring walk-up testing to many different neighborhoods. These walk-up testing sites were vital in tracing infection rates and communicable spread. We were the first in the state to set up pop-up testing sites in historically disadvantaged neighborhoods. These pop-up sites were a success in our battle and provided the opportunity to ensure equity. I applaud the efforts of Whitney Young as well as our Department of General Services for setting up the many locations, as well as the Sheriff Apple for providing security, and my executive team for getting this accomplished. In addition to Whitney Young, we also had partners to provide testing to our essential employees who reported daily to work that may have been exposed, including Priority 1 in Gilliland and Dr. Lombardi at Central Med Urgent Care. As we've learned of more cases, the more things changed. More guidance, more restrictions, more shutdowns, and more quarantines. Indeed, the playing field was morphing and the virus was raging throughout the globe and right here in Albany County. We hadn't experienced anything like this pandemic in our lifetime, but it is something Albany County has been preparing for. As President Bill Clinton stated, preparing for a far-off storm that may reach our shores is far wiser than ignoring the thunder until the clouds are overhead. We heeded those words. We have been preparing. Our health department engages in yearly exercises, drills, and training to respond to a pandemic. Under my direction, all of our departments have been planning, creating, and implementing a continuum of operations plan in coordination with Human Resource and our Civil Service Department. Through my vision of fiscal policies, our Department of Management and Budget over the past 8 years have been planning, preparing, and implementing budgets and fiscal policies that increase our reserve and provide a safety net for our times like this. While we were hoping and praying this would never happen, we were certainly ready when this global pandemic and fiscal crisis hit. Our workforce needed to change and evolve to answer the call to battle. We trained over 200 workers to assist with contract tracing. I reassigned nearly 100 workers throughout the pandemic to assist our Department of Health with response efforts, including daily quarantine check-ins. It was imperative that all of our departments join force to form a unified front against this deadly virus. Indeed, we would need and use all our resources available to fight this virus and keep our community safe. As our numbers of cases and those quarantined increased, the need to provide food to people increased. This was a task that required many partners. At my request, we engaged the National Guard for assistance. We worked with the Regional Food Bank of Northeastern New York. Our Times Union Center was used as a hub point, and over 5,600 pounds of food was delivered to quarantined individuals. A special thanks to General Shields and all the men and women of the Guard involved. During this time, I worked with our Department for Children, Youth, and Family to partner with the South End Children's Cafe, resulting in delivery of 50,000 meals to those in need. Many people were suffering during this time, including the restaurant industry and their staff. Feed Albany was established to provide for these workers. In a partnership, I worked to connect the United Way with our Muslim population to provide a donation of $20,000 to Feed Albany. There is no single or solitary way to successfully win a battle. It truly takes all of us working together, and I sincerely appreciate our partners and the continued effort and contribution of all. As cases of the virus increased, concerns began to rise about hospital capacity. I've seen the images in the media from around the country of people dying in parking lots or outside of hospitals. And I said to myself, I will be damned if this is going to happen in Albany County. We reached out to hotels in the area of the hospitals and reached agreements with them to be used for any overflow if necessary. We partnered with St. Peter's and other local hospitals. We provided a separate wing of our Shaker Place to be used as COVID-19 patients if the hospitals needed more beds. It's these types of partnerships that are necessary to provide another weapon in the arsenal as we unite our effort to the battle of this virus and save lives. As we continue to work with external partners, we also need to pivot, readjust, reimagine our workforce, and to be sure, we need to continue our services. Indeed, in some cases, our delivery of services increased. At the same time, we need to figure out how to do this in a new world of remote work. The safety of our workforce was and still is a top priority. And this had to be balanced with the need and task of providing for our community and keeping our residents safe. We made significant advancements in our technology and ability to perform tasks outside of the traditional office setting. I directed the purchase of hundreds of laptops and tablets with docking stations. This allowed for employees to work anywhere in the world there was Wi-Fi. As President John F. Kennedy stated, during times of crisis, there's a danger, but there's also an opportunity. In that vein, we need to take opportunity to assess our needs department by department, not just in light of the pandemic, but also in light of the fiscal crisis, together with a view of the future. One of the plans I set in motion was an early separation buyout, ESP. In partnership with Chairman Joyce and the legislature, I reached out to labor and discussed the potential buyout plan for employees. The ESP program provided an opportunity for employees to receive a one-time cash payout if the employee chooses to voluntarily separate from service. Through this ESP plan, our county was able to eliminate 80 positions in the 2021 budget, saving the county taxpayers in excess of $5 million. Throughout this crisis, all levels of government realized the necessity to update automated system. This required a collaborative effort with federal, state, and local government, as many programs and systems are interwoven. We work to implement as many online applications as possible. The state changed their platform and provided the county with an opportunity to have our client registration for benefits in the safety and comfort of their home. As we've navigated our way through this pandemic and have reimagined our operations and workforce, we have realized that we are never going back to the old ways. Indeed, as President Kennedy stated, this is an opportunity we have opened the door wide to let it in. That is why tonight I'm announcing that I have directed my Director of Operations, in conjunction with my Commissioner of Civil Service and the Commissioner of Human Resources, to develop a comprehensive workforce development plan for our future. This plan will match our resources, our goals, and our needs and abilities of our advancing technology and our skilled workforce. We have to be forward-thinking. We have to be ready for the future, and we have to develop our workforce to continue to provide the best services to our residents. As President Obama said, we didn't come to fear the future, we came to shape it. And so, I ask our workers, our partners in labor, the unions, and our legislators to continue to join us as we strive to work together collaboratively to find solutions that set us on the road to a future success. We must also look at our physical workspace and reimagine that as well. This evening, I'm announcing the first of its kind government co-working space right here at 112 State Street. Co-working labs have been popping up in the private sector throughout the country and right here in Albany County. My team has been reviewing all these venues and are ready to adopt a model that best fits our goals and needs and our vision of the future. The co-working space model will have shared areas that can be used by any in-field employee on a daily, hourly basis without the need for a assigned desk. We will make this advancement in physical space. We're also making advancements in technology, including better platforms and models that allow for more electronic processing and eliminating the need for paper. These combined efforts provide greater flexibility and allows us to minimize our total building space needed for both people and paper, furthering reducing our carbon footprint. In that effort, I'm challenging all of us in the county government to make a pledge tonight that we can work together to adopt a paper-free policy with obtaining goals that reduce our use of paper by 50% by the end of 2025 and 75% by 2030. These are bold initiatives, and it will take all of us in a partnership to succeed. But I'm very confident that we can continue with our effort to promote the mission I set 9 years ago to make Albany County the greenest county in the state. I would like to take the opportunity to thank each and every one of our employees and send a special thank you for our leadership and our directors and commissioners. Throughout this pandemic, our employees have been working in many cases on the front line. While many people are at home, they were here working, continue to serve the residents of Albany County. The staff has been resilient and has consistently answered the call. The residents of Albany County should feel good about that. We have powered through adverse times, and this has made us stronger. This has prepared us for the future. This has re-energized all of our spirits to working as one, toward the good of the whole. So I ask that we all take a moment in this remote world to say thank you. Send an email or a Facebook, a Twitter post to extend a note of gratitude to our essential workers that have continued to work hard through this pandemic. As I said earlier, we have to learn from the mistakes of the past. We have to ensure that as we are developing and moving toward the future, we must incorporate equitable solutions. We must be considerate of historical disadvantaged neighborhoods. We must recognize the different challenges that occur throughout our neighborhoods in both rural and urban areas. To that end, I recognize an issue with the internet access in both Hilltown population and neighborhoods within the city of Albany. During this pandemic, as schools went to remote learning, this disparity became even more noticeable. To remedy some of the issues within the hill towns, we partnered with Hudson Valley Wireless. We provided Hudson Valley Wireless with access to towers upon our land. In addition, we provided funding that allowed for a stipend to lower the cost of internet to families in need that have children in school, giving their children the ability to attend school remotely. As part of my equity agenda, I'd like to announce tonight that Albany County Connect project, which is the first phase, would call for a study of technical feasibility of launching a countywide broadband initiative to bring true high-speed internet access to every resident in the county by 2023, no matter where you live. This engineering study would be funded by a combination of county and private sector resources. Specifically, recommendations would be made to include within the study to provide for solutions that will allow all persons access regardless of ability to pay. There are many successes, and there are many more that I don't have time to mention tonight, but are equally important. Throughout each and every department, we have taken a great stride into making Albany County a better place to live. In each case, we have done this always with an eye on equality to ensure inclusion and diversity. I have a snapshot you're seeing on the slides that highlights some of those accomplishments. Mental illness is a serious disease that affects so many people within our community and continues to plague us. During these times, the struggles for many individuals have increased dramatically, and the number of people fighting depression has grown. The inability to socialize, to go to school, go to work, to go out to dinner, or to the movie, or whatever activity, make it even more stressful times. COVID-19 has had a negative impact on the mental health of our society as a whole. That is why I immediately set up a mental health crisis hotline to assist those struggling with depression and mental health issues when we were forced into a lockdown. People need to speak with professionals, and it was a priority for me that we provided that service. I am pleased to announce that our continued efforts to battle mental health disease and provide the best and safest resources to our citizens, we partnered with Genoa Pharmacy to open our very own mental health pharmacy for our clients. Genoa is a nationally known, trusted pharmacist specializing in serving the behavioral health population across the country. This partnership allows for a safe and secure method for clients to receive medicine at the same place as they're receiving services. Continue to monitor and keep clients on the necessary medicine through a routine regimen is not only a weapon against mental health disease, but also is a preventional tool against drug measures, drug abuse, and drug overdose. As the struggle with mental health escalates during the pandemic, we also saw a sharp rise in opiate overdoses and deaths. Unfortunately, we're in an area, a tragic situation of an epidemic within a pandemic. This has been a continued fight for years, and I have made this a battle against opiate a priority. We partner with Catholic charities to provide training in overdose reversal medication throughout our community. We established an opiate task force with many participants to work collaboratively on all fronts to ensure that we're not leaving any resident behind and that we're providing resources and services to all those in need. I've been a leader in the battle against Big Pharma and their role in this opiate crisis and played an active role in the federal litigation. We must continue to hold these companies responsible for the unnecessary deaths, the lingering effects, and their lasting devastation their opiate distribution decisions cause throughout our communities. And please know that I will not let up and I will not rest until justice is served. For far too long, we have seen those with mental health issues being arrested and sent through the criminal justice system instead of finding solutions and treating the underlying cause. In many cases, incarceration was not the answer. In my State of the County address 5 years ago, I set forth the idea of mental health court to divert persons with mental health issues from incarceration in cases dealing with nonviolent, low-level crime. In 2020, we finally were able to convince all partners to coordinate and to move this forward. I'm happy to announce that in a partnership with New York State Office of Court Administration, our Department of Mental Health, the Public Defender's Office, the Department of Probation, and the District Attorney's Office, our mental health court opened this month, with the City Court Judge John J. Riley presiding over the matters. This past year, we worked to secure a $900,000 grant for the countywide LEAD program. This diversion program brings partners together to remove the racial injustice that has occurred for generations in throughout our criminal justice system. This program now has a new life and rekindled commitment of moving forward in a collaborative effort to ensure that our past injustices are not repeated. Another major accomplishment in light of COVID-19 was the completion of the $80 million project at our nursing home, now known as Shaker Place Rehabilitation and Nursing Center. The state-of-the-art facility creates a living environment that provides an excellent level of comfort and pride to our residents and to their loved ones. The nursing home is a warm and friendly place to call home. I'm so incredibly proud of this accomplishment. Thank you to our county legislature and to all that were involved. Our Shaker Place nursing home staff during this pandemic has been truly remarkable. For so long, our residents could not visit with their families. Our staff provided compassionate care as a surrogate family member. Thank you. Timely and transparent communication to our citizens is a vital resource to keep our residents informed. As information was changing on a daily and hourly basis, I decided to hold daily press briefings. It is imperative that people knew that the severity of the situation. We participated in daily regional control room calls to discuss the changing guidance and matters, as well as on calls with the White House, calls with NISAC, calls with County Executives of America, and the National Association of Counties. I had a duty to provide this updated information to our citizens and to add value of these steps that we were taking in keeping our community healthy and safe. These briefings provide an opportunity to bring partners to discuss with the public what was happening in their respective fields of expertise. The DA and the sheriff discussed reports of scam activities and efforts used to combat this. We brought in partners that assisted in PPE, testing, and vaccination. We brought in our partners in medicine, including Albany Med Center, St. Peter's Hospital. We brought in legislative leadership to share information on economic stimulus programs. We brought in partners in the restaurant industry to speak of the realities and the need. And of course, we had our Commissioner of Health, Dr. Elizabeth Whalen, at these briefings on a consistent basis to provide a comprehensive scientific lens to the numbers and statistics we were sharing. We cannot get through this pandemic without all these partners working together. I cannot be more proud of this collaboration and the opportunity to share with our community all of our achievements through the many partnerships that have been developed. It's truly inspiring. This past December, we're facing the bad news of a second wave of the virus. This time, we would see more cases and more deaths in Albany County. At the same time, we were receiving the great news of the vaccine being approved and ready to ship. This is going to be the sword in our battle to deliver the final blow. At last, we could see the light at the end of the tunnel. However, the vaccine rollout of Pfizer and Moderna began slowly with many restrictions and limitations on who was eligible to receive it. There was a high demand for the vaccine, but the supply wasn't there. Early on in my remarks, I referred to the need for equity, and I have made it a priority of my administration to make sure that there's vaccine equity in Albany County. To ensure this, we are partnered with many community stakeholders and bring vaccine to the people. We have partnered with Alliance for Better Health, who has provided technical assistance in identifying, pre-registration, and scheduling diverse members of our population. We also work with Albany Housing Authority and other housing authorities to bring the vaccine right to the home of eligible residents. To make this possible, we partner with Mohawk Ambulance, which in turn has provided more resources and reach throughout the county. Mohawk Ambulance has been a great community partner for generations, and I'm grateful for their continued commitment to Albany County and the entire capital region with this new initiative of vaccination. Our Department of Health reached out to our volunteers, the Medical Reserve Corps. This group of individuals have dedicated thousands of hours of volunteering to put shots in people's arms. I cannot thank you enough. Each week our health department sets up what was one pod and now has grown to 3 pods per week, vaccinating thousands of our residents. This would not be possible without your assistance, so thank you to all the volunteers in our Medical Reserve Corps, and thank you to our team at the Health Department. As we begin to schedule appointments at the pod, we made it a priority to carve out appointments for our minority community. My office reached out to the members of the Legislative Black Caucus to ask for their assistance in recruiting individuals within their community that are eligible and interested in receiving the vaccine. As more vaccine came in, we began to work with partners to establish similar pods. While continuing our pod at the Times Union Center, these smaller pods allowed us to get the vaccine to specific neighborhoods. We reach out to religious organizations, and having vaccine at pods at churches where people come to worship provide another level of comfort and confidence with the vaccine. Additionally, we have worked with our rural leaders in the hill towns and have successfully been able to vaccinate many of our elder population that resides there. We also work the senior housing facilities, our Department for Aging, and Rite Aid Pharmacy, a partnership to coordinate vaccine resources to seniors in need of shots. The program put together by Commissioner Ritano has been a huge success and is now being replicated throughout New York State. Thank you, Deb, and your team. Vaccine hesitation is a reality. Unfortunately, this hesitation has been seen at higher levels throughout the minority community in historically disadvantaged neighborhoods. We have created 2 public service announcements that have been aired on television. These PSA provided useful information and are designed to lessen vaccine hesitation. We continue to speak with a diverse cross-section of community leaders. We ask they continue to spread the message. Don't hesitate. Vaccinate. We continue to act and challenge our community leaders to find locations that we can set up these small pods. The light is at the end of the tunnel. Indeed, we can see it. The light is getting brighter, but now is no time to slow down, no time to relax. We are still battling this disease. There is no time for COVID-19 fatigue. There is no time for us to lessen our vigilance. Until we get to that 70% herd immunity, we must continue to be safe. Wear a mask, clean our hands, cough into your elbow, and remain 6 feet apart. Our infection rate is below 2%, and President Biden states by the end of May, there'll be enough vaccine to vaccinate all adults interested. These are encouraging words, and as we move towards spring, we see signs of hope. We see the rebirth of our economy with more and more operations and businesses opening. And as we're getting shots in our arms to keep us healthy, our economy is getting a shot in the arm with $1.9 trillion stimulus package. This stimulus relief provided for real dollars to local municipalities. Here in Albany County, it means an excess of $50 million. It also means over $170 million for our towns, villages, and within the county. As we begin this process of reopening our economy, we must turn our vision toward economic development. Last year at the State of the County address, I announced that we had convened the Albany County Business Advisory Council to work with the national recognized consultant, McCoy Associates, to work cohesively on developing a strategic plan for economic growth in Albany County. As we all know, just after this announcement, the pandemic hit and the world changed. And while we had to shift resources and focus our attention on COVID, I recognized that we could not pause our efforts and plans. Indeed, circumstances were changing and we needed to recognize the environment and the challenges that come with such changes. While this initial plan set us on a good course to continue our progress and work towards achieving goals that are designed to enhance the quality of life and accelerate economic development, we also needed to develop strategies for economic recovery in the wake of COVID-19. Although tremendous efforts was necessary to respond to COVID, this past year our local development corporation was formed, the Advance Albany County Alliance. I am extremely happy about this accomplishment. This could not be possible without the partnership of Chairman Joyce, Majority Leader Dennis Feeney, Minority Leader Marinello, Leader of the Black Legislative Caucus Bill Clay, and the entire legislature. I sincerely appreciate your commitment to this continued endeavor. One of the first initiatives of our LDC was to establish a program that provided grants of up to $5,000 to local businesses in need due to the fiscal crisis brought on by COVID-19. Through a partnership with the Alliance, the Albany County Legislature, and the Community Loan Fund of the Capital Region, we are able to award a total of $500,000 to 132 businesses throughout the county. And I'm proud to say that more than half of these grants were given to minority, women-owned, or veteran-owned businesses. Thank you, Kevin O'Connor, our Director of Economic Development, Alan Goldberg, Chairman of the Alliance, and Linda McFarland from the Community Loan Fund, Chairman Joyce, and all those involved in this much-needed program. The fiscal crisis of COVID-19 has dealt a devastating blow to many businesses throughout our county. Some of these businesses may never reopen or recover, and for many others, it will take years to regain lost ground. We must provide opportunity to these businesses that will allow for a recovery and for people to return to work. At the same time, we must keep our eye on the future and look at the industries of tomorrow and create an environment here in Albany County that will attract these industries. Here in Albany County, we are ready. Tonight, I'm announcing a 5-point Albany County Economic Recovery Plan, ACER. Here are the preliminary components of the plan. 1, we will make Albany County upstate manufacturing hub for New York State's offshore wind program by partnering with the county and local IDAs to drive private investment in our ports ensuring our existing manufacturers are included in the offshore wind supply chain. 2, as I mentioned earlier, we will launch a county-wide broadband initiative. This availability will be one of many initiatives that will create and attract an environment for small businesses and workers, and such further acts as a catalyst towards growth. 3, we must continue to support our local businesses. The county will issue a challenge grant to local technology sector to develop an online marketplace that connects shoppers to local businesses. I'm also issuing a challenge to the thousands of Capital Region residents who would usually be commuting to Albany County every day. Please support your favorite Albany County restaurant or retail establishment now, so that it's still there when you return to the office. We'll also work with local employers in the county to support their efforts in bringing back their employees. 4, in a partnership with the county legislature, we will continue to invest in the newly created Advanced Albany County Alliance work to secure permanent funding for the organization and grow it into a fully developed one-stop economic development organization for Albany County. 5, develop a workforce development pipeline. This must be done in coordination with several partners that will prepare high school and post-high school students for real jobs here in our community by training and developing skills and technology of our growth industries. I look forward to working with the county legislature and our partners in labor, Capital Region's BOCES, College of St. Rose, and our many high schools and other partners to make this a success, and to do so in a way that is equitable for residents of all neighborhoods. Helping those who have been victims of crime or sexual violence has been a priority in my administration. During this pandemic, the need for these services continue to grow. People being confined to their homes has caused tension and anxiety. Children are not in school where they could talk to their teachers and be seen by those trained to identify potential abuse. This created a tragic situation where there was a significant underreporting, and even further tragic that the victims were remaining all day and night with their abusers. During this time, Albany County Crime Victim Sexual Violence Center worked harder than ever to get the message out that they were and are here to help. No man, woman, or child should fear for their safety. Everyone should feel safe and be comfortable in reaching out for help. And we should not rest until we are doing everything within our power to make this happen. This is my moral compass, and one that shall guide my principles in my administration. We should remember the words of General Patton: moral courage is the most valuable and usually the most absent characteristic in a man. We must ensure that every victim has a safe place to go that is private and where they feel secure and protected when reporting to us. That's why tonight I'm going to announce an initiative that Albany County will provide that space so that our crime victims advocates will be able to have that private interview space at times when those who are vulnerable need it the most. They'll no longer have to walk through the doors of 112 State Street and go through security. Albany County has a property that has been identified and shall remain private for the safety of our clients. This property will be updated and renovated to include a safe, warm, inviting atmosphere where staff members can work with client victims. Tonight, I'm making a wonderful announcement. Albany County is in discussions with United Way and other private partners to invest up to $1 million in this property. This investment is necessary to create a true retreat for crime victims. We'll provide updates and renovations of the facility necessary to provide a comfortable setting for these people. As I began this address, I spoke of the pandemic and the war on COVID-19. And while we are continuing in this battle today, let me assure you that the end is near and we will be victorious against our enemy. I am confident of this. I am confident in the strength of our county. Indeed, the state of our county is strong. We are strong because of our leadership. We are strong because of our partnerships. We are strong because of our communities. We are strong because of our compassion and caring. We are strong because of our experience. We are strong because of our success. And we are strong because of our hope. Hope is not blindly following an idea or ignoring the challenges that we face. Hope is more. It's not accepting that there's only one path to success, but rather having the courage to reach out beyond our comfort zone and to accept the changes needed and to take the actions required to create a better world for our future and for the future of our children. So I ask you tonight to join me, to stay strong, to have hope, and to work together as one to finish this war on COVID and to bring our county and our state into a bright future. Thank you. May God bless you. May God bless our great county of Albany and this great nation. Thank you.